This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
1, 2, 3. Lovely.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Maastricht edition live on Facebook. Tonight we have Shakib from the English Bookstore in Maastricht, and we will have our usual fun and games, including a nice quiz for you, Tracy with the news, and Joe with This Day in History. So, welcome to the show, everyone.
Yay! Good evening and welcome to the Maastricht edition. Hope you're all well. Hello, Tracy. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Dad.
Are you well?
Just hanging in there.
Everybody okay? Yes.
Oh, just
Have
hanging
you
in.
survived the storm?
Yes. God, it was.
Storm Christoph came across the top of our house. I'm surprised we still have a roof. I mean, it was, I was up at my usual 3, 4 o'clock this morning, having my hot flush, as I normally do. And usually it's quite tempting at that time of the morning to maybe pop outside and cool down. But no, not last night.
You'd have flown away, dear.
No, I would have needed my little red shoes on, I think, if I went outside. Oh, we're not in Kansas anymore.
Or an umbrella. Miss.
My goodness. Oh yeah, it was really, really noisy and a little scary, if I'm honest. But I'm still here. You're still here. This is good. It's been a very historical week for the whole world this week, and I'm sure we shall talk about that at some point over the next hour. We have got a very exciting show this evening because we have Shakib from the English Bookstore, which is located in the centre of Maastricht. He's going to be joining us later. And of course, the last year, I think a lot of people have really found solace in books this past year because of not being able to go out. And if you're an avid reader, then you probably have this extra time. You think, great, I can read all these extra books. And if you're not an avid reader, maybe you started reading those extra books. So anybody out there who would like to tell us the books that they have been reading over the past year, and if they've got any recommendations at all, then please do let us know. Tracy, you're a reader, aren't you? You like a good book.
I do like a good book, yes, indeed. And I have been one of those people who's been purchasing many, many, many books of late, and they're all in the TBR, which is the to be read pile, which I really do need to get around to getting to. I've decided I've cut myself off. I'm not allowed to buy any more books until I've read every single book that I own. So I think
every single book.
Every single book. I think I've got about 30 years. So
that includes the instructions for the microwave.
Oh yes. It makes me fast. I bet you people have been reading things like that over lockdown as well. Just give me something to read, something to do. But yes, I actually did get quite some nice books over Christmas as well from Santa Claus and things as well.
Nice.
So it's nice. So I hope now, fingers crossed, maybe this weekend I can finally crack a few spines of the books, you know.
Oh, don't do that.
And start reading some.
Because you like the physical books, don't you, Tracy? You're not a digital reader.
Yes, I can't get into the Kindle. I need the pages, and I like to buy secondhand books or books that are naturally printed on recycled materials if I can. And there's just something lovely about just having that little, page turner, literally. So I do tend to. I'm a bit old school, I'm afraid. Ooh.
And what about you, Matt? Have you been doing more reading?
I wouldn't say I've been doing more reading. I'm always reading before I go to bed. That's when I normally read. Been continuing doing that. Maybe I read longer than I usually would, so I don't have to get up as early. So I think I have been getting through more books, yeah. But I also prefer books rather than e-readers. I've never really got into it either. It's nice, just like the smell of the book as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Like if it's a second-hand book, it's got like little marks on it, and sometimes like an odd stain. You're like, oh, how did that go? That's the fun of it,
No, I do understand the romantic point of view with an old book for sure, but in our house we have our e-readers, and one thing I have noticed actually about having an e-reader, yes, we already know how convenient it is because you can have thousands of books on your e-reader, which is fantastic. But one thing I've noticed is I do not remember. I mean, we know my memory's bad anyway. Everybody knows my memory is bad, but when it comes to books, I find it difficult to remember the name of the book I'm reading or the author of the book that I'm reading, because of course with a physical book you pick it up and you read the front of the cover. You'll see the name every single time you pick up the book, and you'll see the author every single time you pick up the book. But you don't have that with an e-reader.
That's very true. I mean, that book, the author, the name, that's with you for maybe several weeks, perhaps, depending.
Exactly.
So you're missing out there, Jo. You're missing.
Yeah. Well, I'm not very good on trivia quizzes about literature after 2000, I would say. Not that I'm that great before that. And let me not kid a kidder here. We all know that I can't remember anything. I don't even know the last time I went to the toilet. I can't remember. But yes, but it is something that I've noticed for sure. It is something.
Yeah.
But yes, people, tell us if there's any books out there that you recommend that you have been reading over the past year. Do let us know. And if you've got any questions for Shakib, who will be joining us later, then send your questions in. Now, something that it is today is National Hugging Day.
Yes,
now, when I say it's not actually here in the Netherlands, but I am making a proposal because it's National Hugging Day in the UK and the US. I'm proposing, because of the situation we're in at the moment, we should make it International Hugging Day for the whole world. Because if there's one thing we're missing, Matt, we're missing
cuddles.
Thank you.
It's like blankety blank.
I thought that was a trick
You have
question.
to think about it there. Oh my goodness. But yes, cuddles, hugs, that just give it a good old squidge with somebody. You know, we have, maybe if we're fortunate enough to live with somebody, then we can go and give them a squeeze from time to time. But lots of other friends and family, we're missing out on hugs with them. So if you haven't got somebody to hug, maybe you've got a teddy at home that you like to have a squeeze of, or maybe this is just an old friend of yours that you've just had stuck on a shelf, maybe on the side of the bed. Tracy, oh, it looks like you've got an old friend there. Who's that?
He's alive.
He's alive. He's part of the show now. Hello.
His name.
My name is Paddy. Oh, I'm Paddy the bear. Oh, how good is my ventriloquism, hey? Isn't he adorable, though?
What is that paw prints on his bow tie?
They're paw prints on his bow tie, and look at his little feet.
Oh my goodness! Little, look at the size. They're huge.
He's got little feet. So this is my little cute guy. So he's such a smiley little bear. He's a bit shy. A bit shy.
Does he have a name?
I'd originally call this guy Paddy.
Paddy.
Paddy the bear.
Yeah, it's a good name. It's a good name. And Matt, who have you got to have a squeeze with?
Bunny.
That's a bunny.
The bunny.
Hello, Bunny.
Right.
Obviously a bunny. Of course it's two big ears.
Okay.
Whiskers.
Yeah,
No.
it couldn't be a mouse, could it? It has to be a bunny.
Oh, it could be a large mouse. You're right. Ooh, the jury's out.
I'm just thinking that, okay, so we'll go with Bunny. And does Bunny have a name, Matt?
No.
Okay. He's knitted, isn't he, by the looks of it?
He's what?
Knitted. He looks like
Yeah,
he's
he's knitted. He was a knitting project, and I was learning to knit.
You made him?
I made him, yeah.
So
I didn't buy that. Sorry?
You haven't given him a name or legs, for that matter.
No, he doesn't have legs either.
Maybe he is more of a mouse. Maybe the little feet are so tiny. We don't see.
Do you know what he's stuffed with?
Oh, I don't know if we want to know.
He's stuffed with Jacob's old underwear.
I said you didn't want to know.
It's not. They're clean, I think.
Oh, well, that's recycling at its best, isn't it?
Well,
Jacob's up there.
I hope
become
clean underwear.
a stroke mouse without a name and without legs. Do you know what? I think it's fantastic. It's good knitting. I can see that it's very good knitting.
What do you
So,
Hey!
have a goat. This is my little cuddly man here, Peter the goat. Here he is, and complete with hooves, and he's a horny little devil, as you can see. Meh. So yes, he's my man, He can be very cuddly, you see, because he can wrap his arms around me, which is very nice.
Oh, yes, I got it. Oh,
Mine doesn't have any
very
arms.
sweet. Very sweet.
very
So
cute.
if anybody out there has got a little cuddly friend, send your pictures in. We'd love to see them. And if you preferably ones with legs, I'm going to stipulate that. I think
with lovely feet, like Paddy has. Look at those.
Caroline has joined us. Hello, Caroline. Nice to have you with us. Good evening. Maybe Caroline has got a cuddly toy she wants to send a picture of, but it's National Hug Day. And if you are able to have a hug with somebody, then please do. We all need hugs at the moment. So reach out and hug. If you're listening to this in the supermarket, do not reach out and hug. But if you're at home, then go hug somebody in your house if you can. Dennis is in the house. Hello, Dennis. Go and hug somebody. We're saying it's National or International Hug Day. Go and hug somebody if you will.
If they're in your bubble.
If they're in your bubble. Karina's with us. Hello, Karina. Now she's a hugger. I know Karina. She likes a good hug. So go and hug somebody, Karina, and enjoy National Hugging Day. We're going to be having some hugging parties when we all can get together again at some point, I am sure. So enjoy it while you can. Oh, Dennis says hello. And Ellie's with us. Hello, Ellie. Nice to have you with us. We are telling everybody, go and have a hug. Hug somebody. Give it a squeeze. Now, while you're all doing that, I think we probably should find out about Matt's review.
Oh, yes. I think it's time. I'm very curious.
So, last week, I asked Matt to review a Billy Joel album from 1977. It's an old classic called The Stranger. Has a huge mix of different kind of vibes going on the album. Matt, what did you think of it?
I thought it was interesting a bit.
Well, that narrows it down, doesn't it?
It wasn't a downer, but it wasn't like, probably not.
Oh, goodness me.
Yeah.
Stranger by Billy Joel from 1977. It's an absolute stomper of an album. There's loads of hits on there. Tracy, you're going to pick the album for Matt to review next week. I'm excited to find out what it is. What have you got for Matt?
Right. Well, I went through my vinyl collection this week to pick out an album for Matthew. But of course, Matthew, you can listen to the CD YouTube version or whatever it is. I've chosen an album from back in 1978. It's from a band with a fabulous blonde front lady singer.
Ah, gotcha.
And I have chosen for you the album from Blondie called Parallel Lines. This is the album version. There we are, my little record inside. So yes, I thought we'd go with this one. I'm really on a limb on this one. I have no clue how this is going to go with our Matthew. But there are some wonderful classic songs on this one, Matt. I mean, Hanging on the Telephone, Picture This, One Way or Another, you know, the list goes on. So this is the album. This is the cover you want. Jo can tell you more. Yeah, she can tell you a lot more. It's like kind of punk rock. This was the third album, I believe, that they released, and many people rate this one as one of their very best. So this is the one for you for next week, Blondie.
I have to say also that there were certain young men around at that time who weren't really that bothered so much about the music because of Debbie Harry. She was this blonde goddess that was fronting this punk band, kind of a crossover punk band, I would say. And yeah, she was just absolutely gorgeous. She was just I think all the girls were in love with her. I think, yeah. girls wanted to be her, men wanted to be with her kind of thing, and she was absolutely fantastic. And they came on the scene, and everybody was in love instantly. But the music is fantastic, definitely, really, really good. I'm sure you will recognise a couple of the tracks on there. Tracy, it's an excellent choice.
Thank you, darling. Let's see what our Matthew thinks.
Yeah.
But happy listening. For this one, I can't. Joe, what do you think? What should Matt be doing while he's listening?
Well, it's quite an upbeat album, actually.
Yeah.
So. You're not going to find any slow romantic songs on there. So you need to be doing something where you can, have a little head nodding. Yes.
Well, my goodness.
Let me have another drink and some shoulder action.
Yeah.
Okay.
But have a listen, Matthew, and really very curious to know what you think of this one. So there we go.
Okay.
By the way, Adam says if Matt doesn't like The Stranger, there'll be trouble.
Oh God, you tuned in a bit too late, Adam.
I didn't say I didn't like it.
Poor Matt, he has to defend himself every week.
Everyone has their opinion about music.
Absolutely.
It's such a personal thing, isn't it? And some people can rave about an album or a musician or a band, and other people think, "What? Are you kidding me?"
Yeah,
So it's absolutely. But I'm happy, Joe. So far, we've had steady 7, 8s, 9s, couple of 10s. So it's we're not
no zeros yet.
No zeros, no 1s, no 2s.
Oh, I can sort that out for you next week. So.
It's a challenge. Try to get an album that Matthew gives a 0 rating for. Let's see if we can do it.
Oh, okay. I tell you what, I'm going to do that because I think that would be interesting. I'm sure in my collection I can find something which I absolutely adore and he will find awful. So yes, that's quite a good challenge actually.
Wonderful.
So coming up later in the show, we've got Shakib from the English Bookstore. He will be joining us. We've got Tracy coming up shortly with the news. But before we get that far, I think it's probably time for us to sort of chill out a little bit. Time to relax, get all zen-like. This is the time when the whole of Maastricht comes to a grinding halt. Well, they're pretty much there already.
They are.
Paddy Bear can relax.
He's relaxed.
Have a cup of tea. Are you going to sneeze? That.
No, carry on.
Are you about to do a Darth Vader impersonation?
Maybe.
Well, if you are going to sneeze, do it that way rather than all over your screen, because we're all going to get some otherwise. So yes, let's all take a moment now to relax, put our feet up, have a cup of tea. Because it is time for this. Oh, Matt, have you been practicing that?
No. I think you did a good job. Well done.
Okay, today is Thursday, the 21st of January. Oh my goodness, it's nearly Christmas. On this day in 1789, the first American novel by W. Brown called The Power of Sympathy is published. And that's in 1789. In 1813, on this very day, Spaniard Don Francisco de Paula y Marin plants coffee in Hawaii. It's the first record of coffee growing in Hawaii. Now, Hawaii, who wants to go?
Aloha.
Absolutely. Oh, God, if we could be there right now. Oh, if we could be there right now, that would be lovely. In 1903, that's it.
I just need
This
the...
one I find funny. Yeah. 1903, on this very day, Harry Houdini escapes from Halvermansteeg police station in Amsterdam. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sorry, but if you've got Harry Houdini in custody, you're not going to take your eyes off him, are you? I mean, this is a guy who puts himself in a straitjacket, in a box, throws himself in a canal, and then comes out 5 minutes later. Really? And you're just going to leave him in the police station and nobody watching him? Of course he's going to escape.
It was a rookie mistake, I suspect, yes.
Oh, what? In 1921, on this very day, British crime writer Agatha Christie publishes her first novel, The Mysterious Affair at Styles, introducing the character Hercule Poirot. Now, Matt, are you a cosy mystery fan, would you say?
Yeah, I quite like Agatha Christie. I never actually read any. That's something I want to do, read some Agatha Christie. But I like the programs, the Prado programs. They're good.
And what, are you a Poirot or a Miss Marple?
Poirot.
Yeah? Tracy?
You see, I struggle here. It depends who's playing it. I love Peter Ustinov as Hercule Poirot.
Really?
And Evil Under the Sun was one of my favorite movies. Really top cast, including Maggie Smith. We love her. But more recently, on the BBC First channel, they were showing some series with the lovely Geraldine McEwen, I think it is, as Miss Marple. And I think she was my favorite Miss Marple to date. So only 4 seasons, sadly, but yeah. So I have one of each, but it depends who's playing. I know a lot of people rate David Suchet as Hercule Poirot, but for me, he doesn't do it for me, unfortunately. Sorry, Dave. Sorry. It's like the music, Matthew. You see, it all depends.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yes, we've been watching the Miss Marples on BBC First recently. Thoroughly enjoying them. She really is a good Miss Marple. I like her a lot.
Film recommendation
for
you. Have you seen it?
The first. Oh, sorry, Matt. Did you say something?
I was just going to say, film recommendation, if you like that sort of thing, is Knives Out, which is a recent film with Daniel Craig in it.
I've seen it. I went to the movies to watch that one. Yes, it's quite good. It's very, very Agatha Christie-esque.
Oh, okay.
And it's got Daniel Craig in it.
It does. He keeps his clothes on, though.
Well, kind of everything. Let me turn up for the books with having a naked Daniel Craig and a Miss Marple. I don't think Agatha Christie would have approved, but it would go down in my book as one of the better ones, definitely. In 1922, on this very day, the first slalom ski race was run at Mürren in Switzerland. Now, I'm not a skier. Tracy, are you a skier?
I have skied. And I do like to think of myself as a bit of a ski bunny.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not great. I have the shoop action. I like the outfit. I like the idea. But I'm not super good. However, my other half is a fabulous snowboarder.
Oh, really?
But I find that looks much more difficult, I think, than skiing. You're kind of stuck on one piece there, and it's so yeah. But it is something I would like to learn to ski.
And Max, what about you?
I've been twice, and I really liked it. Except the second time, I got stuck right at the top of the mountain. You could see the peak, because my friend assumed I was much better at skiing than I actually am.
Oh no!
And it took about 3 hours to get down the mountain, and we missed the coach back down to the city. So
disaster.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely that ski kind of girl. That I'm really, really good at. But anything that involves me falling over onto something cold, no, you can count me out. And I will fall over. That's guaranteed. In 1934, on the 21st of January, Parisian baker and student of medieval life, Henri Letier, appears in court, charged with forcing his adulterous wife, Juliette, to wear a chastity belt. Having committed the same offence 2 years before, he was sentenced to 3 months in prison and fined 50 francs for cruelty to his wife.
Well,
I know. A chastity belt. I mean, the fact that he actually had one in the house, I find rather alarming. But didn't like what she was up to, so whipped on a chastity belt.
There you go.
Yeah, and it didn't put her off, apparently, because she went out and did it again. In 1976, on this very day, so the supersonic Concorde has its first commercial flight. And in 1978, Bee Gees' album, Saturday Night Fever, goes to #1 in the US for 24 weeks. That might be a good one, actually, for you, Max. Saturday Night Fever. In 1986, 100 people participate in the nude Olympics race in 3 degrees in Indiana.
Oh, crumbs. Whoa.
The nude Olympics. It's, yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say, really. Is that a javelin in your hand, or are you pleased to see me? I mean, really, it's the nude Olympics. Oh, I don't want to think about it. I don't know. I mean, really, I think the hurdles would put me off. Goodness me. I mean, it's, yeah. Oh, doesn't bear thinking about. In 1990, on this day, John McEnroe becomes the first ever player to be expelled from the Australian Open. Ooh. And in 2008, the Ayak language in Alaska becomes extinct as its last native speaker dies. That's quite sad.
That is sad, actually. Sad. Yeah.
And finally, on this day in 2020, the world's oldest asteroid impact was found in Yarrabubba in Western Australia. And this is said to be 2.2 billion years old. Wow. I can't get my head around that. I just can't. I mean, that's just too big a number. How they work that out is beyond me. Absolutely beyond me. But yeah, 2.2 billion years old. Right, let's have a look at some birthdays. On this day, 1905, Christian Dior, the French fashion designer, was born in France. In 1922, actor and singer Telly Savalas was born, well known for Kojak and on Her Majesty's Secret Service. He was born in New Jersey. 1940, Jack Nicklaus, the American golfer, was born. 1941, Placido Domingo, the Spanish opera and Latin tenor, was born in Madrid. Billy Ocean, famous for Caribbean Queen, Get Out of My Dreams, was born in Trinidad in 1950. Jeff Koons, the American artist, was born in 1955. And finally, in 1976, a little Spice Girl by the name of Emma Bunton, Baby Spice, in fact, was born in London. And before we go, the lovely Josh Island, singer extraordinaire, a big supporter of us here at the Maastricht edition, who has also performed live for us on many occasions here on the show. He will be celebrating his birthday tomorrow. So from us here at the Maastricht edition, we wish you a happy birthday. And to anybody else out there who is celebrating a birthday today, have a lovely day, whatever it is that you are doing. And that was This Day in History.
Well done, darling.
There you go. Lots going on historically. So, I think it's probably time we had some news.
Let's do it. I'm ready to go.
Excellent. Tracy Taylor with the news.
Thank you, Joe, and good evening, everyone. It's January 21st, and you're watching the Maastricht edition on Facebook Live. First, a look at your weekend weather, and the strong winds from last evening have eased off today, and this will continue into tomorrow with a mix of sun and cloud and highs of 7 degrees. Saturday is expected to bring more rain, however, and there is a chance of sleet on Sunday, highs of 4. Moving to your news bulletin for tonight. A curfew is expected to be implemented in the Netherlands as of this Saturday, January 23rd. After some debate in the Dutch Parliament, it seems the curfew will start at 9 p.m. and will last until 4:30 a.m. each day. The final decision is yet to be announced, however. According to a recent study, it seems a massive 80% of Netherlands residents are now prepared to take the coronavirus vaccine. In December last year, only 69% said they will be willing to have the shot. The outgoing Dutch cabinet announced yesterday that as of Saturday, all travellers from countries with an increased risk of catching COVID-19 will have to undergo a rapid test shortly before departure. Without a negative, they will not be allowed to board the plane. With this in mind, it is expected that KLM will stop operating long-haul flights as of Saturday. US President Joe Biden called for unity and pledged to be a president for all Americans at his inauguration in Washington yesterday, but warned of the challenges ahead as he takes on multiple issues. In his first speech as president, Biden declared, "This is America's day. This is democracy's day, a day of history and hope." Biden's administration has unveiled a detailed COVID-19 plan to boost vaccinations and testing after he warned that the pandemic is entering its deadliest phase. Biden also signed a directive yesterday to rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement and to divert funds from building the wall on the border with Mexico. Poet Amanda Gorman became a sudden star at age 22 at President Biden's inauguration as she recited verse inspired by the Capitol attack. Miss Gorman was the youngest poet to recite at an inauguration, a role first given to Robert Frost by John F. Kennedy in 1961. In other news, Rotterdam and Amsterdam may be losing their high-speed train connection to London after only 2 years, as the Eurostar faces massive financial difficulties and may soon collapse. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, Eurostar saw its passenger numbers drop by 85% last year. And the approval of COVID-19 vaccines has people eager to be inoculated against the virus, but sadly it seems that scammers are taking advantage of this. Scammers calling themselves Team Thuiszorg are calling Netherlands residents and offering them an early vaccination date for €71.95. After booking the appointment, victims receive a ticket to pay the money. Please be warned that this is a scam and you will never be asked to pay for a COVID-19 test nor vaccination. If a scammer contacts you, please report it to the police. And finally tonight, it seems that the Champs-Élysées in Paris is all set to undergo a pedestrian-friendly makeover that will turn the area into an extraordinary garden by 2030. Half of the avenue's 8-lane highway will be closed off to traffic in order to achieve this new green area. And it seems Barcelona is also busy with plans to convert a third of its roads in certain districts to car-free public spaces in order to curb excessive pollution in the city. And that's it for tonight. For more local news, you can follow RTV News in English on Facebook and Instagram. If you are a local business, be sure to check out the Support Your Local Business South Limburg Facebook page, a joint initiative between #Maastricht and the Maastricht Edition. And if you want to discover events, concerts and cultural activities going on in Maastricht and the surrounding areas, head on over to the website of our partner, Maastrichter.com, to check out their awesome calendar of events. You can also follow them on social media. And don't forget that you can always find us on the Maastricht Edition Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, on Redbubble and on Instagram. For all the details, check out themaastrichtedition.nl.
Lovely job, Tracy. Very nice.
Thank you,
Very
darling.
nice. I have to pick up on the story about Amanda Gorman, actually, the young lady who is the poet laureate the young poet laureate in the US who spoke at the inauguration. I watched that yesterday, and oh my goodness, she was amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing. I mean, if she's representing the next generation who are going to be coming through for this world, I mean, the world's going to be fine, I tell you, because what she said was very powerful, very, very powerful. And I think also, actually, as a poet as well, I think that this holds poetry in good stead. I think I seem to have the idea that over the last few years, and we'll actually, when we invite our guest on shortly, maybe we should have a chat with him about this as well. Poetry, I'm hearing more about poetry these days, and it's a fantastic medium. So to have somebody like Amanda up there on the world stage at this most prestigious event, telling us or sharing her feelings about her generation and the world going forward. I mean, it was just astonishing, absolutely astonishing. And yes, social media has been full of her today, absolutely full of her. So yes, I think it's probably time that we invite our guest on. We've got Shakib from the English Bookstore, who is in the house this evening.
Oh.
Good evening, Shakib. How are you?
Good evening to you all. Thank you for inviting me. I'm doing
welcome
great.
to the show. It's an absolute joy to have you. And before we dive into to talk about the show, did you actually get a chance to see Amanda Gorman last night during the inauguration?
To be very honest, I did not follow up what was going on, and unfortunately not.
In your position, are you finding poetry is mainly gaining in popularity these days?
Yeah. I mean, poetry is always a way of expressing like feelings, and especially in tough times, I think great pieces were created, and probably that's the reason that it is getting more attention.
Yeah,
Again,
for sure.
because we are like in a big crisis, obviously.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Indeed.
Well, let's talk about your bookshop. It's the English Bookstore that's here in the city of Maastricht. We need to find out more about the shop, but let's find out a little bit about yourself. How have you ended up in Maastricht in the first place, and leading up to the bookstore? Have you always been selling books?
No, honestly, no. I'm an automotive engineer, and it's like not my main profession. However, like we ended up living here in Maastricht because like we lived in the US for 5 years, the last 5 years, and our older son, had to like start school, and we were planning to move back to Europe, and we're looking for an international school in like let's say in Western Europe, at least in Western Germany, because I also lived 20 years in Germany. So and we found a very good school here in Maastricht, the United World College, and basically decided to move to here to to make it possible for our children to attend a good school, and declared this city for our main, how do you call it, hub for the next 12 years until they are finished with school.
Wow.
So where did the idea come from to open a bookstore?
So in my childhood, so I'm originally from Iran, so my parents moved when I was 10, 11 to Germany, and I grew up in a small city in Germany, right at the border between Germany and Denmark, and like in the early 90s, this city was like quite small, and also there was not much to do, and so most of the times during the breaks, summer breaks, spring breaks, and so on, we ended up being at a library, and so I was always surrounded by books and all kind of books, also comic books, things like that, and that was our hobby those days. And when I moved to the US, I experienced that, especially in the US, the libraries are a place for a whole community to come together. So the libraries are open 7 days a week, which is quite amazing. And when you go in there, you really see also the diversity in America. So you have like children doing their homeworks in the library, but you have also senior citizens reading their newspapers, and the way they construct these libraries is like so amazing. So when we were in the US, like every Sunday we used to go to the library, and our children loved it. And after moving back to Europe, I recognized that even so, here you have like a great library in a city center, you don't have a big choice for English books, and it's also unfortunate that we cannot speak Dutch, and I think it's quite the same for a lot of expats that are moving to Maastricht because they don't know how long they are going to live here, and they have also different things going on. So it's very difficult to learn also a different language to be able to participate in a society in a sense. And so the idea was to like open this shop and having a place for people to come together. And we have the international school, we have the university, all those things, which is great. But you have to be a member of those institutions to be able to gain access to them, right?
Yeah.
So this place is basically for everyone, right? So we have also people coming to here that where their kids are attending like Dutch schools, but
Yeah.
the parents want them to learn English or they don't speak English, and here you can just come in and then like look around, meet people, find something or not, and that's the main idea behind it. It's like really not a business. It's more a pot where people can, uh, you know, go to.
Somewhere to hang out.
Yeah.
Lovely.
There just happens to be some books on the shelf.
Books in there, indeed. And quite a lot of books, I believe, Shakib. You guys carry new books are for children, young adults and adults, but also even a few small secondhand books as well, right?
Yes. So when we were thinking about this, we noticed that even so, the city is very cosmopolitan and international. We will not have like many customers like bookstores elsewhere, like in Amsterdam or in English-speaking countries like London. So we wanted to, to have a frequent changeover, and you can only do that by having used books and new books, because with new books you would have to order many copies of the same book. And for returning customers it could be like boring after a while, so you come once every 2-3 weeks and find the same things. So most of the things we have here, we have like 1 or 2 copies of each. And then try to add new things. Do not have the same things over and over again. And so I think the best idea was to have a good mix of used and new books.
Yeah.
And they're
Makes
also
sense.
not so pricey. So our books start
where
at
do you find all these books? Where do you find all these secondhand books in Europe, like English books?
like mostly in UK.
Okay.
But yeah. And like there are like freight forwarders, like companies in the US. So I like order all these books in different online shops and everywhere else, and then send them to a hub. And then after we have a lot of books, 500 or 1,000, they ship it over.
Okay.
Very cool.
So you're encouraging people to come to the store and just hang out and just share ideas, chat, mingle, and so on and so forth. But how much have you actually been open over the last year?
We actually started end of November. And we're open like for 3 weeks, and then we had the shutdown. And so but during this short period, even so we did not advertise at all. It was received so well that it was like we were surprised. Like literally we opened the first day and we had a TV team here, like reporting about this.
Nice.
The second day we had 2 radio stations here. A few days later newspapers were here, and also like the whole neighborhood, like they just came in, and it was received very well. So that motivated us to keep going also during the lockdown.
Yes.
And basically be patient until after this.
Indeed. But I believe, Shakib, you guys now have an online order service, right? Where people can buy stuff online and come along to the store at a certain time to pick up their books. Is that right?
That is right. Yes, yes. So that was also actually an idea of some of our customers, that they said, hey, like do an online shop. One reason is that people still will remember us after the lockdown.
Of course.
And it's also a great way to see each other still, to allow them to, even if it's a short time, they just come in for 2-3 minutes and I get their stuff, but it still allows limited interaction, and
Of course, yes.
But it's
And
quite
you're also-
exciting to get out of the house, to be fair.
I know.
And
Ooh,
if it's to go and pick up some new books, then you're going to be doubly excited.
Exactly.
right.
So going forward then, at some point, when we are back to normal, whatever that is, whenever that is, you will be open and you're going to be encouraging groups to come to your place and maybe hold an event, I believe.
Yeah, like there are different ideas how to do a reopening, and but one thing that I also wanted to mention here is the places for the whole community, expat community, as well as the Dutch community that lives here in the city. So we are offering also the space to anyone that wants to organize an event, and obviously this would be free of charge. So they just tell us what they want to do. They get our infrastructure, chairs, tables, whatever, coffee machine, drinks, and they can just organize events that are benefiting the whole community.
Wow.
I think the best things can only arise when we offer it to people that have ideas like that.
Awesome.
Okay, so but this is more for when we don't have the social distancing going on, I believe, because then we maybe a book club, to be fair, most of the book clubs that I've been a member of, it's more of a book and wine club with more of emphasis on the wine. But it's fun, to get people together to discuss a book that they've read over the last couple of weeks. So and it's the perfect location for that, of course. So maybe in a few months' time, when we can actually get together, we can maybe have so actually we've got somebody contact us now saying maybe an English language group would be a good idea, which if you're surrounded by English books, that sounds like a perfect idea.
Indeed.
For sure.
Yeah.
And where are you located, Shakib?
We are located in the Frankenstraat 149, and it is close to the Groene Loophaar.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
and it's also very close to the train station as well as the highway. And
Yes.
so yeah.
Easy access.
It's basically, if you guys know the Skarneweg in Maastricht, that very large street where the Albert Heijn is, it's sort of the street to the side of that at the back. So it's a very, very cool spot. Yeah. There's
Actually,
also
somebody by the name of Sam is saying to us that she's looking for a new location for her group. So I think she might be in contact with you soon. So there you go. That's handy.
Absolutely.
hurrah.
Please, yeah. Just message us, go
I
on.
feel like a dating service. TME has turned into a dating service. There you go. Well, Shakib, it's been lovely to have you here. We're so pleased that you're doing so very well here in Maastricht. We wish you the best of luck going forward, and hopefully it won't be long before we can all come and hang out in your place and check out the books there and have a coffee with you in not too far away, because all this. We've already said it's National Hugging Day. Now, we're not necessarily going to come charging in there, and well, I might, because that's what I do. But it would be nice to actually have a nice group of people together sharing ideas. So it sounds like yours is a very good place to do that. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Shakib. All the best, and let us know if there's any exciting events coming up when you're open, and we'll get you back on the show again.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite.
All the best, Al. Thanks so much. Take care now.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Oh, wow. This is very exciting, guys. No?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really interesting what he was saying. They've only been open 24 hours, and they've got the TV there and other radio stations there, and it's great. It's obviously something that the city needed. So this is brilliant. It's just such a shame that he had to close down so quickly. But I'm sure they will be open again soon. And the online service is useful.
Yeah. At least they have the online in the meantime, which is kind of helping, I guess, to keep many businesses with their head above water for the moment, right? So, but yeah, it's good, really cool, but really nice. I'm happy we finally got Shakib on the air with us. So that's cool.
Yeah, excellent stuff. So actually, I think before we move on to Matt and his quiz, I think you might like to ask me a question, actually.
Oh, it's been quite a while.
Yes, a while.
Okay.
But somebody asked me a question. Go on.
Joe, what do you know this week that you didn't know last week?
Well,
It's been a while.
funny you should ask me that, Tracy. And actually, you are going to really like this one.
Ooh.
In 1975, a cat was listed as the co-author of a prestigious physics paper because the author had accidentally written "we" instead of "I" throughout and couldn't be bothered to change it.
Well. But there you go. What was the cat's name?
I don't know what the cat's name was, but I think I've got to go with Whiskers. I mean, really.
Mr. Whiskers or something. Well, there you go. Sounds very plausible.
Oh dear. There she is.
I had one
There
about
she
a
is.
cat as well. You have to ask me.
Oh, Joe, you heard.
Oh, Matt, tell me, what do you know this week that you didn't know last week?
Well, did you know that in London in the 1700s, if you went to the zoo, you could get in for free if you brought a cat or a dog to feed to the animals?
No.
Yeah.
That is just beyond horrible.
Oh, poor Tracy, she's got a kilo.
This is all too much. That's just awful.
That probably keeps the stray cats and dog population.
Well, yeah, maybe.
down.
Oh my goodness. Were the poor cats and dogs fed live to the lions
I'm
and
not
stuff?
sure,
then?
actually. I'm not sure if they brought them alive or like they just found like roadkill or something. I don't know.
Oh my God.
He's been a very naughty boy. I've had enough.
God, thanks for the nightmares, Matthew.
They don't do that anymore. These days you have to pay for a ticket. You
Oh,
can't-
so, well, I should think
take your pet.
so. Oh my, I'm horrified. I'm like,
Oh, Tracy.
who needs to sleep? Oh my goodness. Okay.
Right, you need to redeem yourself, Matt. Let's
Okay.
move on to your quiz. What have you got for us this week? It was the yes, no, yes, but, yeah, no, but, yeah, but, no, but, yeah, but, no, but. Was it?
Lie truth.
Lie, truth. There you go.
So I've got
And
three.
these are facts about you.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
God.
I've got three statements for you, and only one of them is true. Okay.
Okay, go for
So
it.
statement number one: I once grew a carrot with 2 legs. Statement number two: my first pet was a granny grey called Sarah. Statement number three: the smell of oranges makes me sneeze.
Ooh, that's a tough one, Joe.
And you can ask questions about the statements if you want.
Right.
Well, I don't think when we were working in the studio, I don't recall there ever being anything orangey around that would make him sneeze. So I don't think we've
No.
witnessed that.
No, and I know our Matthew has been known to grow fruit trees, but it tends to be lemons. But I do recall something about a blood orange tree being grown on his patio, and that for me would be an orange. So I think we can dismiss that one, Joe.
I think you're right. Yes.
I-
What was the second one again?
He
My
had a
first pet was a granny grey called Sarah. And when I wrote this, I was wondering whether that's a Welsh thing or whether that's something everyone says. It's
a rabbit, is it?
woodlouse.
A woodlouse. A woodlouse.
Granny grey
Woodlouse. You had a pet woodlouse.
called Sarah.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm totally
Sarah.
all over that. Yeah, it's got to be that. I mean, that is just so random. Why anybody would have a pet woodlouse? I mean, he's freaky enough to have one, I'm sure.
Oh gosh. Well, I was leaning more towards the carrot because I do know that our Matthew does like to do a spot of growing, and he's grown vegetables of many kinds. And you know, sometimes carrots do come out with random appendages
It's
and
true.
it's like shaped like people and stuff. I'm going to plump for the carrot.
Okay. And I'm going for the woodlouse named Sarah.
Okay. Well, so nice, actually. I grew a carrot with 2 legs. And it was a very funny looking carrot because it looked like it was sitting down. It was like the legs out here. And
Oh, wonderful.
Then I have to ask this question. Where the hell did you get the idea of putting woodlouse named Sarah in the mix?
I don't know. I was just thinking, what sounds plausible, but it's also really random.
Plausible.
Oh my God.
OMG.
Right, go on, next.
Next, okay. Statement number 1. I ate a pear for the first time when I was 23. Statement number 2. My guilty pleasure is listening to Little Mix. Statement 3. I can read in Latin.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with Little Mix, so I don't know why that would be classed as a guilty pleasure.
I can't see our Matthew listening to Little Mix somehow. I'm going to dismiss that one.
There's anything wrong with them. I think they've got fantastic voices. Their harmonies are superb. So I don't have a problem with Little Mix. So I don't know why it would be classed as a guilty pleasure. But that's just me. So the pear. 2. Yeah, I mean, going along the lines of the last one, Tracy, when you were saying that he likes to grow stuff, he's very much into nature and everything. I would have thought pears. In Wales, they have them, don't they?
I think they have pears in Wales. They probably have a name. There's probably a name for a pear in Welsh, I would expect. Well, you never know, because some people do avoid certain fruits and things, and they kind of, have them late in life. Yeah. But I suspect that our Matthew can read in Latin. So I'm going to go for number 3.
Yes, I think yes, because it also fits in with his history thing as well. So I'm with the Latin as well.
No, I have no idea about Latin. The true statement is I first ate a pear when I was about 23.
No!
Yeah.
Why, Matthew?
And grapes, I never had a grape before then. Or lots of fruit things. I'd never really eaten them, like a kiwi or anything like that.
Really?
When I was a kid, we never really had fruit. And then I met Jacob and he was like, oh, eat this. And I was like, oh, I've never had this before, and was horrified. So the last few years have been a voyage of discovery in many ways.
Good Lord.
I hope your parents aren't watching. They're going to be very embarrassed.
Well, he's done all right. He still grew very tall, so he must have had a lot of good veggies.
I think you're probably too old now for social services to be calling your parents. But
Too late.
Well, there we go.
Well, that was a bit of a shock. Okay, final question.
Oh, no, that's it.
Oh, that's it. Excellent. Okay. Well, we've learned something about our Matt this evening.
We have. Yes, we have.
And we've inspired anybody out there who has a pet woodlouse to name it Sarah. So it's all good. Before we go this evening, Tracy, have you got any titty bitties for us?
Yes, I do. I have 2 lovely little tips for you guys this evening. Firstly, a reminder, people, Valentine's Day is 24 days away. Oh. So if you're that way inclined and you like to celebrate,
you're that way inclined.
Many people just boycott Valentine's Day, but some people go for it. 24 days to go. Our dear friend Petra at the Euler Concept Store, she's still available online like many of the other businesses, but she's offering a special Valentine's Day special.
Ooh.
So to quote her words, why not send a box filled with love to your love? Isn't that sweet? Yeah.
Nice.
So Petra is offering to be your Cupid as well, because if you order with her, she will actually deliver it for you. If you're by car, if you are in a range of 15 kilometers around Maastricht or around Helene. So if you're in either of those 2 cities, this could be something for you. And she's got lots of lovely choices. She's got something called Love Bites. It's 4 of them come in a box. She's got a Persian love cake, which looks quite funky. She's got something called a Wild Thing, which is actually a luscious chocolate mango passion fruit delight cake. Try saying that 10 times in a row. And last but not least, there's a strawberry delight with chocolate. Who doesn't love a chocolate strawberry, right?
Oh, lovely.
So you can check out her socials and place your orders. And now, if you happen to fancy a Valentine's Day card to go with your cake from Euler, then why not check out Cardi Jojo on Instagram for a someone we know, for a huge array of fun and sweet greeting cards to send to your special someone. And we'll put all of the details will be on our social media after the show, so you can click, follow, like, do all of this, and maybe place some orders.
Fantastic. What a great idea. Superb. Certainly, yes. Mango and chocolate or strawberry and chocolate. Oh, yeah, I'm all over that. All over that.
You had me at chocolate.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And of course, as anybody who's been tuning into the show for the last few years, you all know what my husband and I normally get up to on Valentine's. We head off to IKEA for our meatballs. We can't do it this year. So I'm going to have to make the meatballs myself.
Oh, God. On that note...
Probably time to go. Well, it's been lovely this evening having Shakib from the English Bookstore. We've been talking about hugging this today because, of course, we have national hugging going on. Hope you've all been able to get at least one hug today from either your knitted mouse stroke rabbit. Hold on, mine's fallen on the floor. Your puppet, Paddy the bear, who yes, you have to, yeah, lovely. Or Peter the goat. Whoever you're hugging, whatever you're hugging, hope you've having a lovely day. We shall be back next week, of course. And in the meantime, stay safe. The curfew's going to be coming in the next couple of days, so keep your eye out for that. And we shall see you back here again next Thursday. It's been lovely to have you all here. Have a great weekend. Take care now. Bye. Bye.